Hey everyone, it's Andy here from Saving to Invest. Hope you're having a great day. Today's video, I'm going to talk about what to expect with your tax return processing now that the IRS tax season has officially opened and that the IRS is processing and accepting tax returns, and specifically what's going to happen to your IRS refund payment status. There's a great resource on the IRS page, the operations page they have, which has highlighted some recent changes and updates based on the processing over the last week. Just want to talk a little bit about that and what it means for the upcoming tax season. So hopefully you'll find the information useful here, and I'll link to the relevant pages that I discuss. So just to summarize what I found on the latest IRS update, not surprisingly, the IRS is having to correct significantly more errors on tax returns than in previous years. This is not surprising. There have been a lot of new changes, new tax law updates. There's been the stimulus checks. There's been the dependent and dependent care payments. There's been the advanced child tax credit. The earned income tax credit has expanded. There's been a bunch of changes, both for individuals and small businesses. So not surprisingly, the information the IRS is getting from individuals versus from employers and from different sources is sometimes having discrepancies, right? And even the IRS systems and staffing are also sometimes behind the eight ball. So all that has created sort of a perfect storm with the ongoing pandemic, staffing shortage. It really mean that the IRS is having to spend a lot more time correcting a lot of these returns and errors that have happened. Specifically, in the latest update, they've called out issues with the earned income tax credit, the advanced child tax credit, and the recovery rebate credit, which is basically the stimulus check. So resolutions of these issues, if it's not automatically resolved by the IRS, are taking 90 to 120 days, which is, a long time. And so a lot of people are waiting even longer than that. I realize that from comments on previous videos that it's taking some people months to hear back, and they're already ready for filing their 2021 tax return, and they still haven't got information back on their 2020 return. But the IRS is having to manually process a lot of these, and normally they say they get things done in 21 days, but some of these with those credits and where they don't match up with the information provided, it is taking longer. And not surprising, you'll see the numbers I'll show you shortly on the operations page. There are millions of returns from past years being processed, both for individuals and small businesses, and with the staffing shortages, this is just delaying things, right? The IRS is committed to trying to process it. They've acknowledged the issues. They also realize trying to contact someone at the IRS is being very challenging, and I've covered that in other videos, but they're behind. The good thing is the backlog is reducing. There have been less tax changes in 2021 than there were in the past year, so the IRS has been able to update its systems and provide training for its staff for them to catch up. I'm going to go now to the IRS operations page, and I'll show you some of the highlights that I saw there. As always, if you like what you see, please hit the like and subscribe button. So you can see I'm now on the IRS operations page, and you can navigate to here over via here, or I'll post a link in the description below. So this is a really useful page, and I think for a lot of people trying to find out what's happening with their tax return and refund payments, this is a great page to come to. The IRS is pretty good at updating this for different topics, and it does post this on their social media channels as well. But if you look at it here, you can see the last updated date, and so generally go to the topic that makes sense to you and open up the one that's most relevant. So I'm opening up the one that is about the recent processing and the topic of this video, and I'll post more videos in the other areas as they post updates. But I just wanted to expand the screen and show you a little bit about what they're writing here. And there's a lot of language here, so definitely go read it if you want. But I've read it for you, and I'll just probably highlight what's important and based on some of the items I touched upon earlier. So you can see here, the IRS, they have 6 million returns unprocessed as of December 31st, 2021. Overall, they process almost 160 million returns. So that's not a huge amount, but still 6 million is not a small amount either. So don't feel like you're alone if your return is still you're still waiting for your 2020 return. And really the ones that are causing issues are all the ones with errors. So you probably have got letters from the IRS to provide more information. So please respond to those if you haven't got it. But as you can see here, it's the ones that require correction to the recovery rebate credit, going back to 2019, earned income credit, and additional child tax credit. So these are all the ones that are generally causing the issue. And I think this part is really important, which I highlighted as well there. The IRS does normally try and resolve these automatically, and sometimes, it's very manual. That's why it takes a long time, because they have to go to the short staff IRS employee. But if it's taking them, if it takes them more than 21 days, it could take up to 90 to 120 days, so almost 3 months. So they're acknowledging it, that there is a slow processing behind this because of the number of errors they're getting as well there. Luckily, the good news is the IRS has reduced it from 9.8 million at the beginning of May to the end of December to the current level of 54,000 specifically for this credit. It doesn't mean the 6 million that was referenced up here is covering that. There's other reasons that issues have issues, but specifically related to these items, it's down to 54,000, which is good news for a lot of families waiting for their refund payment. Again, you will always get a letter if something is changed or if it impacts your 2021 tax filing. So, always check where's my refund. That's a great resource. I've got another video on that separately, which I'll link to here as well. But it always provides information about your latest refund. I know it doesn't get updated often, and there's times where it doesn't change for several weeks, but it is the official source of where your refund is, and you can see some FAQs if you want to go into more details here. Again, so, if your returns wait, and the biggest question is, well, how long do I have to wait for my refund? So this is a great article to read from the IRS around their process. It does confirm here, tax returns are opened and processed in the order received. So filing early, as long as you have all your documentation, your W-2s and 1099s, it does make a difference. So there is a certain order of, when you file is when you get your return, you up the line, sorry, so what I mean. So file as early as possible when it makes sense. Definitely file electronically. I think it makes sense if it is filed electronically. The IRS has said that as well. And try and avoid all mistakes. This is why using tax software versus paper returns can be a lot more helpful. And all the big tax providers provide checks because they know what the IRS looks for. So I would highly recommend using those. And I have some recommended ones in the description below if you're looking for some options. The process is nicely explained here. So if they can fix the error without contacting you, they will. They won't bug you, because normally if it's a small issue or if it's a discrepancy, they'll just process it, and that actually happens for quite a large majority. If they need more information, they will send you a letter. Again, this is really important for fraud. Don't just expect a phone call or an email. That's probably fraudulent. They will send you a letter to verify, obviously, that it's you, it's going to the right address. So look for an IRS letter, and it'll give you instructions on what to do next, what documentation to provide, and potentially a number to call with to an agent to discuss this further, right? So wait for that IRS letter as well, or keep an eye for it if you don't get it. And then again, the 90 to 120 days is what you could take to get those letters after they've done their initial analysis over there, right? And they've again talked about their staffing shortages causing some of these issues. So that's the reason why some of these are taking much longer than they used to in past years. So what should you do if you're waiting for your refund or you've got a letter? A lot of times when after you file your refund, keep checking the where's my refund tool or your IRS account. I highly recommend opening up an IRS account if you haven't already opened one. It just shows you your past payments, so you can at least have a history of what your interactions with the IRS have been. If you filed on paper, and it tells you when you received a return or who's reviewing it and what's happening with the processing. So this WMR tool and the account, they all go together. And finally, the IRS has, I think, caught up and is moving to definitely a more online where you can get real-time statuses as well. The important line here at the end: please don't file a second tax return. So there's no point filing a tax return or trying to contact the IRS if it's been less than 21 days. That's, in fact, filing another return is just going to complicate things because it'll flag more issues and potentially fraud. And then contact the IRS within 21 days or within that, you're probably not going to get through an agent, and they probably can't help you just because it hasn't actually been processed yet by the systems. The other one is amended returns. There's been a lot of people who've processed amended returns because their income changed or they had a dependent added in 2021. So as of Jan 2022, they've got about 2.3 million unprocessed 1040Xs, which are the amended return form. Again, they're working through this. The backlog is there. Amended returns are taking longer. They're taking more than 20 weeks instead of up to 16, just because they're amended, so it has to be checked with the original one, why it was amended. So there's just a lot more verification that has to happen. And again, don't file a second return. An amended return is different to an amended return. So, an amended return is different to a second tax return. So don't file a second return. The amended return is the one you want to use. And you can do that through, again, tax filers. And there's a link here that on the IRS page which shows you how to check your amended return as well. Unemployment compensation. So for 2020, people could exclude the unemployment compensation. That is not the case for 2021. But the IRS is still processing refunds going back to 2021. It's so far issued 11.8 million additional refunds. About $15 billion worth of payments are related to that unemployment compensation that came into effect. It was actually passed, I think, after the end of the 2020 tax year, so it was being retroactively paid. But it's sort of almost done. The IRS is, like I said, concentrating on the more complex returns. So the refund processing will just go on as they reach those returns. And the IRS is, sending letters to folks that are still waiting for the unemployment compensation. But most of these have been processed, so it's hopefully not an issue for too many people. There's a lot more other information here you can have a look at. I'll post the link to this page, but hopefully I just want to give you a sense of some of the latest updates, likely to expect ongoing delays, and hopefully it's not too bad for most people.